right, there we go. We're back. Kind of had a little error in the beginning of the broadcasting. Hopefully, everything is working now. So I'll just sit here and wait for a couple of minutes for everybody to give me the thumbs up. According to the software, everything is streaming correctly. A-OK. A double A-OK. So there we go. Now, the other night, we had our good friend. Well, we're getting some reports that there's no sound, and some reports that everything's fine. And apparently, some people don't have their volume turned up loud enough. There we go. I can hear the monitor in the background. Now, a few nights ago on Tuesday night, we had our interview night. We had our good friend Boris from South America on. He's in Brazil, actually. He enjoyed his time on the show a lot. Hopefully, he'll have time to get over to the show archives and take a look at the information that we have that's related to what he was talking about, which was all different kinds of things. And during the show, we apparently had a few problems because several of us here on the staff down there in South America and here in the broadcast center, we were attacked by some various Trojans and things like that. So I have upped the ante. We've closed things down quite a bit on our stream and what ports we have open. And as a matter of fact, I have something that I'm running right now. Take a look at this. Hold on a second while I reconfigure. I told you this is going to be a laid-back show. So here we go. This is what we have here. This is called a port sniffer. What it does is it keeps an eye on all of the ports that are opening and closing and who is trying to get into our server here. Hold on one moment. There we go. I had to put my little muffler over the top of the microphone to help cut back on some of the noise in the background there. Hopefully that's a little better. So this is our port sniffer. You can see right here. This is our streaming software right here. That's the port that it's using right there. Here, right here. Right there, that's the port that it's using. That's the software right there. You can see right here we have a couple of other things that are open. And it's keeping an eye on the system as the show progresses. So, there we go. We're keeping a very close eye on the network, and hopefully everything is going to stay up to snuff. I'm doing a little bit of configuring here while we fly. On account of such a laid-back evening, I haven't done any show prep at all. So, got a report that we had a black screen. That's because I was reconfiguring things so you could see the port sniffer. So let's take a look at tonight's show topics. I'm doing this kind of a new way, and I'll show you here in just a second. There we go. As you can see, we've As you can see, I've done a few changes on our show topic page here up on the browser. You can probably see the text a little bit better on the screen. And this is actually going to go up on the website. Everything that you see here, without the background, of course. I got the background on there so it's easier to see on your computer screens. But let's get on with the stuff that we have tonight, and it's kind of I'm going to hardly be doing any politics at all tonight, so everybody can relax. I'm not going to be screaming and yelling. Not going to be any major complaints here. We have right here, the Mayan calendar had friends. I've also got another neat trick that I can do, because we now have a little bullet thing for the mouse. You can see that it will highlight what I want it to right there. There's a new book out by Tom Horn. It's called Apollyon Rising 2012. It's about the Mayan calendar. Everybody, you've been watching the Discovery Channel and the TV. Hold on a second. Let me, there we go. If you've been watching the Discovery Channel and the History Channel and all that crap in the background, people have, there have been a lot of shows on about 2012, the doom of the world and everything else, but it all is mostly, how do I want to say it, almost atheistic in its outlook and how it's presented. There's no references at all to virtually any other history other than the Mayan calendar and a few other things. And what Tom Horn has done is he's taken all of this and put it all together. He's taken the Bible and everything else and he's put it all together, as well as with some other civilizations and the information they have in those civilizations. So let's take a look at what Tom Horn has to say. You might want to download his book. In fact, let's take a look. And supposedly the page the book is on. There we go. There you go. You can see the cover of the book right there. And apparently it's on sale for Christmas. So we'll just go back here. And it says here, with all the hype about the ancient Mayan calendar suggesting the demise of the human civilization taking place in 2012, an American author wants everybody to know that other calendars predict the same outcome, and he claims a demonic plot is bringing about the end date that could be hiding in plain sight inside the U.S. Capitol and in your wallet right now. Holy crap. Okay, so that sounds pretty conspiracy theory sort of bent there. He says here, and here's a couple of quotes from him. He says, I started finding that it wasn't just the Maya. It was something that I already knew about, but a lot of other people don't mention it. The prognostications come from the Jewish mystics, as well as the ancient Chinese, the Hindus, the Cherokee Indians, and the artwork among famous American symbols all point to the same time frame. But wait, there's more. The Aztecs saw the same thing, a flying serpent called, let's see, how are we going to pronounce this? You can go ahead and pronounce that however you want. I'm just going to call him Quasicoat. A flying serpent Quasicoat. Their calendar ends in 2012 too. The Hindus, the Kali Yuga calendar of the Hindus forecast changes around 2012. And China's Book of Changes, also known as the I Ching, predicts the end for the same year. In fact, right here, This graphic right here, this is a computer-generated model of the I Ching, and you can actually download this program. I forget exactly where it comes from. I'll find it and put a link up. But you can see it goes in cycles like everything else. But then you can see right over here is your year, right there, where the bullseye is, and that is 2012, right there. And you can see that the I Ching stops right in 2012. 38 years ago, when scientists Terence and Dennis McKenna created a stock market-like linear graph based on the I Ching, the timeline abruptly plunged off the graph into infinity on precisely December 1st, 2012. This finding is all the more astonishing given that McKenna's research, which was published in 1973, independent of any knowledge of the ending date in the Mayan calendar. Meanwhile, the Zohar, a collection of books of the mystical Jewish Kabbalah that first debuted in Spain in the 13th century, talks about the coming of the Messiah at the same general time. The other calendars forecast the end. It predicts in late 2012, all the kings of the world will assemble in the great city of Rome, and the Holy One will shower them on fire and hail and meteoritic stones until they are all destroyed. So there you go. Given the rejection of Jesus by the Orthodox Jews as Messiah, this coming could herald the coming of the Antichrist in 2012. It's also related to the mother of all conspiracies involving Noah's great-grandson Nimrod, who not only built the famous Tower of Babel, but is the mighty hunter who scholars believe became worshipped as a sun god, with such names as Osiris in Egypt and Apollo in Greece. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and take a look. This is a pretty long article. Here we go. We have even more calendars that predict the end in 2012 over here at WorldNet Daily. Let me zoom in on this. No, we don't want your free offer. But thanks for asking anyways. That's WorldNet Daily. If you need some kind of useless crap, go ahead and go over there and apply for whatever it is they're selling. So here we go. WorldNet Daily. This is posted on November 20th, 2011, right there. With all the hype about the ancient Mayan calendar suggesting the demise, hey, wait a minute, we just read that. So this is basically the same article. Now we know where that, whoever had that first article had it. You know, this is what I hate about some websites is they have this stupid mouse over searches and ads and every other piece of crap. Anyways, this is what Horn was talking about, the symbol on the back of the dollar bill, the pyramid with the great seeing eye and everything. And apparently with this guy, if you take like a line and draw it from, if you take a line and draw it from here, and you take a line and draw it from here, and then draw it from there, and draw it from there, and then draw it from there, you get some kind of crazy conspiracy. So, whatever. Now, over at Before It's News, we have another article. Probably, how much you want to bet it's the same article? Sure enough, look at that. There's the same article. And, well, we got the WorldNet Daily article again. So, here's what I can take from this. Okay, this this book that Tom Horn wrote. Okay, one would think, if you go around on the internet and you visit the usual conspiracy sites, Godlike Productions and Above Top Secret, maybe the Realist News, and places like that, you will find that they have this story, and they're all quoting the same article, which is interesting. So Take that however you want to. It looks like a fairly interesting book. I may actually read it myself if I have the time. Unfortunately, I still have that homework assignment that Cliff High gave me that I have to take care of one of these days. So let's go back over to the screen and go over to the next story. And this one is substantially more disturbing than the previous one. That was a kind of fluffy news there. Okay. Yeah, I love this title I came up with. It's a fight between the iron pan bending madman and a goofy bike helmet wearing president. I came up with that headline myself. Is the U.S. picking a fight with China and Russia? Is this an election ploy from the plotters or happenstance? And I have a little article here that I wrote. Look, this actually could have been a pretty good opening for the show, but what the heck, I'll do it now. Look, we all know these clowns in Washington are progressive socialists with a communistic bent. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. From Van Jones, the admitted communist and former Green Job czar, to everyone involved, it's a who's who of the Mao and Stalin Club. But we have to ask ourselves, exactly, what are we doing over there in the Middle East regarding Syria? One can suspect that the recent Obama nixing of the new Canadian pipeline, that this could be a forced move to green energy and electric cars. After all, a dust-up with Russia, China, and the OPEC nations would put a crimp on our style. Add the Hugo Chavez oil supplies and those from Brazil, another couple of socialist countries, and they may have us in the bag. Or consider the best way to control a population is to prevent them from traveling. Gasoline shortages would do that. Keeps people from getting to their bug-out facilities, too. And here's a quote from ZeroHedge.com. Let's go over there and go ahead and take a look at this article real quick, because I am hell-bent on making sure that this is a half-hour show tonight, and I'm not going to carry on and on and on. And, well, a little bit of formatting problems here. Okay, that should look okay. Let's see, aircraft carrier. This would be the George Herbert Walker Bush. Aircraft carrier CVN-77 parks next door to Syria just as the U.S. urges Americans to leave the country immediately. This is by Tyler Durden on 11/23. So this is just a couple of days ago. This was posted at 1:30. Yesterday reported that the Arab League, with European and U.S. support, are preparing to institute a no-fly zone over Syria. Today, we get an escalation which confirms that we may be on the edge. Just out from CBS News, the U.S. Embassy in Damascus urged its citizens to leave Syria immediately. And Turkey's foreign ministry urged Turkish pilgrims to opt for flights to return home from Saudi Arabia to avoid traveling through Syria. But probably the most damning evidence that the Western world is about to do the unthinkable and invade Syria, and in the process force Iran to retaliate, is the weekly naval update from Stratfor. We're going to go over here and take a look at the Stratfor site. If you don't go here, you got to be a member there. I'm not going to log in at this point. It's Stratfor, which always has some very interesting, if always controversial, views on geopolitics. Where we can find that for the first time in many months, the George H.W. Bush has left the traditional theater of operations out the Straits of Hormuz, a critical choke point where it traditionally accompanies the Stennis, and has parked right next to Syria. Let's see if... There we go. Here is the map that the article is referring to. This is what I was trying to get to at Stratfor. You can see CVN-77 is right over here in the Middle East, right there where my cursor is blinking, right off the coast of Syria. And the Stennis is still over here, right there. And then if we go over here and look in the the Pacific Ocean, you can see that CVN 73 is now moving toward the area, as well as some landing crafts. So that's a rather disturbing development. Let me go back down here to the bottom of this page. And from CBS, the U.S. Embassy continues to urge U.S. citizens in Syria to depart immediately while commercial transportation is available. Said a statement issued to the American community in Syria Wednesday, posted on the embassy's website. The number of airlines serving Syria has decreased significantly since the summer. So there you go. You have a series of warnings for, well, I guess I didn't read this article totally, but the warning came 2 days after Syrian soldiers opened fire on at least 2 buses carrying Turkish citizens. Witnesses and officials said apparent retaliation for Turkey's criticism of President Assad. He's the president of Syria. The Turks were returning from Saudi Arabia after performing the annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca. And he says right down here, got Brent, that's Brent C. crude. So, apparently, the guy that wrote this article has apparently come up with the same thing myself. I didn't read the entire article before it came on the air. Apparently he's come up with the same conclusion that I have. Oil may be getting very expensive and very scarce. A forced move to keep us at home and not traveling, just in time for Christmas. Which is just absolutely perfect. But that's okay, because I wasn't planning on going anywhere anyways. Okay, so we're going to go down here. And, oh yeah, hang on a second here. We have our Doom story here. Hold on a second. Darn, I don't have my Doom video up, so I'll just go ahead and do it. It's time for Doom. There we go. Okay. You remember that we had your Comet Elenin, and we had your Comet Honda. Where Honda got a comet from, I have no idea, but apparently Honda had a comet. And, of course, our asteroid, YU 2005, also known as YU 55. Gordon James Giantano sent this email concerning the YU 55 asteroid that recently flew by the Earth at about 1 million kilometers from Earth. Well, it was closer than that. This guy's full of crap right from the start. The Goldstone observations utilized a new system. There we go. The Goldstone observations utilized a new system to obtain images with a resolution of 4 meters. Radar astronomer Lance Benner, the principal investigator from JPL, states, the sequence of images we obtained shows an unprecedented fine scale on this asteroid, which is comparable to the size of the Empire State Building. The Goldstone images show evidence for concavities emerge near the asteroid's equator and numerous features that may be large boulders. Boulders on an asteroid, that's pretty something. Now, Michael Crystal wrote, NASA recently posted 28 images of YU-55 asteroid. While checking the images, several showed, here we go, the conspiracy theories. Too bad they didn't pick this up before the thing came here. Okay, here you go. We're going to zoom in on this photograph right here. Here's your radar image of YU-55. And these guys are claiming that this right here, right there where the mouse pointer is flashing, they're claiming that right there is a pipe. It actually looks like my head. Wait a minute, that's not funny. Okay, so we got my head here with a pipe sticking out of it. That's pretty good. I don't know where these people come up with this stuff, but what the heck. Okay, here we go. Let's read what this guy has to say here about the drain pipe on the asteroid. Yeah, it's pretty good. Asteroids may be pieces of destroyed planets with unknown histories and may be a relic of a previous civilization on another world. It could be a drain pipe from mining, a water supply or sewage pipe, or a smokestack preventing gases. Nature does make cylindrical shapes with no right turns. Enhancement was done using the Photoshop Gaussian filter, followed by a smart fix that corrects color balance and improves shadow and highlight detail. The frame is about 19 seconds into the video. I estimate the pipe to be about 120 meters long before the bend and about 30 meters in diameter. So there you go. We got your get the exhaust pipe on the asteroid. Oh, that's just too good. Okay, hold on a second here. Let's see what other kind of articles we have associated with this. So I put this stuff together pretty quick. Unable to resolve. Oh, look at that. Virtually strange.net. Oh, hold on a second. Got a bad URL there. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Well, apparently it's not going to resolve. So, the virtuallystrange.net site is off the air. Let's go to this Canadian site that has some more pictures right here. Right there where my mouse pointer is. You can see it right there. See that thing flashing? There's I can tell what this is just by looking at it. This is the after image right there. And this is the before image right there. So you can see, you can't really see a lot right here. And then after they enhance it, you can see it right there. And I suppose you could possibly say that right there is that deal is right there. Okay, here we go. Right there. Okay. So, and here's the NASA asteroid article, where of course they're going to say there's absolutely nothing to do with anything with that asteroid. They're going to try to show us a movie which is going to slow down our stream. So we don't want to do that. So, anyways, there you go. Apparently, this asteroid that was hurtling through space, minding its own business, I might add, came flying along through the orbit of the moon, whizzed right past us. The moon is not 1.5 million miles away, by the way. And came flying by. Apparently there was an exhaust pipe on it. Okay. I'm actually more worried about Planet X and all of that crap coming towards us than I am about the asteroid that missed us completely. Apparently these people don't know how to steer their asteroids. That's all I can say. Because if there was somebody, here's the way I look at it. If there was somebody actually throwing rocks and stuff at us, they'd be hitting us. I can't believe a civilization advanced enough to hurtle asteroids and comets at us can't hit us. Of course, you never know. They might be pitchers for the Cleveland Indians. Who knows? Okay, my last story of the evening is about the Dropa stones. I don't know if you ever heard of the Dropa stones, but these things are pretty cool. And as always, hold on a second here. As always, what I've tried to do, and I try to do this with all the stories, is I try to take both sides of the story and tell you where to find them and present them to you. So you got the story for and you have the story against. I always try to do that. If I can't find it, I try to do the alternative viewpoint myself. So we have the Dropa stones here, or Dropa stones, whatever the hell you want to call them. Colonel Donald G. Carpenter helped write the book Environmental Space Sciences with 6 other officers that was taught in the Air Force Academy. He was the originator of the Space Science course at the United States Air Force Academy and commander of Space Track, a radar site in Shemya, Alaska. Obviously, he got somebody pissed off back there in Washington and got stationed in Alaska. He writes his examples of some ancient and worldwide evidence of UFOs. We might start with the discovery made by Shai Pen Lao of the University of Peking. Supposedly, he found this stuff back in 1938. You can see the photograph here. Nobody wants to see the cat. Our director cat is here, and apparently he wants to be on camera. So we're going to take a break real quick, and I'm going to bring the director cat in here. Okay, here's the camera cat. He's actually directing the show, and his heart is going approximately 738 beats per minute because he has been tortured for the past several minutes by our one of our producers, who is standing there behind me. Apparently, this is how this stuff works around here. Instead of looking in a mirror, you look in the monitor of the camera taking the picture of you and fix your hair doing that. This is why we have cats directing the show.
That's my baby.
All right, so if I can get back to this last silly story.
Here, honey. Carry on.
Okay, thank you. The Dropa stones, or Dropa stones, or whatever the hell these things are called, supposedly found by Chi Pu Ti back there in 1938 in the bleak and windswept range of the Bayan Karaula mountain range on the Chinese-Tibetan border, not far from the Chinese pyramids. Holy crap, they got pyramids in China. Okay, so you can see here's a picture of one of the Dropa stones, and we go down here, and there's another couple pictures of the stones. Okay, here we go. They have pictograms depicting scenes of the solar system and a map of the heavens, illustrating Earth, the Sun, the Moon, and various stars connected with intersecting lines and dots. The pictogram maps resemble ancient trade routes. In one of the mural caves, they found a stone disc half buried. The disc had a thin spiral groove expertly cut into its face, running from the center to the edge similar to a DVD. The disc they found measures about 9 inches in diameter and roughly 3/4 of an inch thick. The center has a perfect hole that's 3/4 of an inch across. Once they found the disc, they eventually dug up 716 discs, some in pristine condition. Upon inspection, mysterious hieroglyphic symbols were found carved inside the grooves. Unfortunately, the discs languished for years, forgotten in a dusty storage area museum, until Dr. Sun Ni copied the writing from each one of the surviving discs to paper. The unknown hieroglyphs are so minuscule he could only read them with the aid of a powerful magnifier. An expert in deciphering ancient languages, worked diligently for many months, translating some of the Dropa stones. Recorded, an amazing story written 12,000 years ago by a fantastic people the world had forgotten. The discs related the voyage of the Dropa to Earth, how they crashed during their exploration of the planet and became marooned on Earth, a foreign world unknown to them. Their spacecraft was located in what later became known as the Bayan Karaula Mountains, part of the Himalayas. I wonder if that's where... I wonder if that's actually where the Yeti is. Maybe the Yeti is related to them. At any rate, we have a little thing here from the National UFO Center that gave us this article. You can see they have a lot of interesting... here's an article right here, sort of related to that, I guess. China's hidden pyramids were built by E.T. So apparently, the Chinese pyramids were built by, I don't know, the flying saucer people. And here we go. We're going to go over to the Discovery, crystallinks.com. And you can see here I've got some more pictures of the Dropa stones. You can see there's one of the stones right there. And there's a couple of Chinese guys there. They look pretty serious. Pretty silly hat. Humanity searches for its extraterrestrial roots. Okay, so let's see if they got any more. Okay, here's a couple more of the Dropa stones right here. And you can see they look exactly like DVDs. There you go. I'm looking for these finely chiseled grooves that other article spoke of. And I don't see them yet. I don't see them here either. Well, I suppose this right along here could be considered a groove, along with these grooves here. Apparently it was a very poorly written thing. Okay, so now we got this stone here, the lizard, right there. Okay. We got the yellow UFO guy here. A bunch of squids and octopi right here. And some hieroglyphs in writing. And apparently what looks like a flying saucer right there on that disc there. So that's all pretty interesting there. And there's another view of it. You can see the space guy there. Now, actually looking here, it does look like you've got a sun here. And then this follows all the way around here, just like this, and goes all the way down there. So, who knows what the heck that's all about. And here's another view of one of the Dropa stones with the ancient hieroglyphs on it, right there. It's very interesting. The Fastios disc. Don't know if that's a picture of it or not. They're not tagging any of these photographs. They're just throwing them up there. Photos claiming to show Dropa discs are in fact bi-discs, thousands of which have been found throughout China, mostly in southeast provinces. Bi-discs range in size from a few inches to several feet. Most are commonly made of jade or neophyte with a round or square, small central hole. Most bi-discs date back to the Neolithic period, that's 3000 BCE, but are found up to the Shang Dynasty period. Bi-discs beyond Shang period are usually more ornate, carved with dragons, and stuff like that. The Russians did some research. What's more, what's more, when placed on a special turntable, according to Dr. Vashnev, whatever his last name is, who described the experiments in the Soviet magazine Sputnik, they vibrate or hum in an unusual rhythm. So, we have the mystery. We have the mystery of the Dropa stones. Now, one of these articles, this entire file will be up at the website a little bit later on tonight, along with the link to this video, so that everybody can watch it. And hopefully I remembered to record it tonight, because it's a laid-back night. I really wasn't planning on getting real deep into this type of subjects, but apparently I am. Now, these Dropa stones, they say they were found by these 4-foot, 4-inch tall humanoid skeletons with giant skulls. And instead of headstones, they had these little Dropa stones. And they've got little pictograms of spaceships coming to Earth and stuff like that. And this one guy says he deciphered it, and it tells a story of the Who's-Its coming to Earth in the ancient past, and they got marooned here when their spaceship crashed. Which actually sounds kind of plausible to me. So if we go over here for the other side of the story, we're going to go over to bad archaeology. And here we go. Why are the Dropa stones the most researched subject on bad archaeology? So we're going to go over here. Hopefully everybody can see this text. And you're going to have to make it a little bit smaller so everybody can see it. Well, I don't know why it's going off the screen there. Well, you probably can't see that. Okay, looking through the search terms which people use that have been brought to the main bad archaeology website, I've discovered that far and away the most common search term is Dropa stones. Pardon me one moment. I'll have the links for this here in a little while. Hold on a second here. Let's over here, and we'll go over here to this, and right here we're going to go do that, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to come down here since everybody's asking for the link. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this right here, and magically through the application of technology, we will have the address for the Dropa Stones article. There we go, right there. You can go ahead and get that link. I'll just sit here and wait and look into the camera real stupid like. Well, you guys busily type that into your address bar in a new tab. Don't go away from the show because the show's not over. You type that into a new tab or window. Don't leave the show. I'm only doing this because I'm being nice. It's Thanksgiving and everything. Normally I wouldn't do this. This is it for the rest of the year. That's it for me being nice. I'm done. Anyways, this bad archaeology article, I'll just tell you about it while you guys are rooting around on the internet looking at this other article. The source for this 1938 thing comes from a magazine, a Russian magazine that was printed in the United States in the 1960s, in the early 1960s. Then it was published in English in, of all things, some type of a hobby magazine about these Dropa stones. Didn't get any traction at all. Fell off the radar. Nobody heard from it. Then all of a sudden in 1964, this article comes out again in another Russian magazine. And this time they've changed the years when this guy supposedly found these things. And it goes on from there, and there's virtually no backing up of the source or the facts. They got these Dropa stones. They're all over China. They got no idea where they came from. And the story about finding them in caves at the headstones with the 4-foot-tall humanoids apparently is completely bogus because the guy was trying to sell a book. So apparently it was some kind of a little book thing. Hold on a second. Let's go back here and go back to the bad archaeology website here for a second. Let's see if... obviously, I'm not going to get this text big enough so that you can read it on the screen because it goes off on the right side here. So, according to the article, okay, here we go. Let me. I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Hold on one second. I'm still fighting this cold off, so I still have a sore throat. Comes and goes. I believe this is a cold that I have had before, and I have some type of immunity against it. So it's kind of a cold. It's got me in my throat and earaches and muscle aches and things like that, but I don't have the stuffy nose that goes along with the cold. So my voice sounds just as rich and baritone as it usually does. Anyways, the story of the Dropa stones has been around since 1960, when Valentin Rich and Mikhail Chernenko published the article Hypothesis, Assumptions, and Guesses. Does the trail lead into space? In the magazine, Current Digest of the Russian Press, a Russian-language newspaper published in the USA since 1910. This is in Volume 12, Number 9, 30 March 1960, pages 24 through 26. It was a complete reprint of an article that had originally appeared in Literature Gazette, 9 February 1960, page 2, discussing the speculations of Matest M. Agrest, who lived from 1915 to 2005, that aliens might have visited Earth in the remote past and left traces of their arrival. According to the article, which is summarized on the main website, let's see if we can get to that. Bad archaeology here. Well, that's not very helpful. Oh, here we go. The Dropa stones. Okay, there's your article summary there. And hold on, who's this? This is a new photograph we have. Right there. Tibetan herders, known as the Dropas. Right there. Supposedly, if we go by what these people in these articles are saying, these right here are space aliens that you see on the screen. They're nomadic herders in Tibet, known as the Dropa. There you go. There's the space aliens right there. They look kind of like Tibetans to me. Although I do like that hat that one guy had. Anyways, according to the article, which is summarized on the main website, a Chinese archaeologist, this is badarchaeology.com, badarchaeology.com. A Chinese archaeologist named Chai Pu Ti made an unusual discovery in January of 1938 in caves in a remote part of the country in the Bayan Kara Yula mountain range. The caves contained a series of graves, while their walls were decorated with drawings of people with elongated heads, together with images of the sun, the moon, and the stars. The graves were found to contain remains of beings little more than a meter tall, with abnormally large skulls. Archaeologists also found a stone disc a little over 300 millimeters in diameter with a hole in the center, a groove on the surface of the disc spiraling outwards from the center hole to the rim and back, forming a double spiral. Another 716 discs were found in the caves. 2 years later, okay, here we go. 2 years later, here we go. Here's a image of another article, Volume 7, July 1962. This is Reinhard Wigeman's article in the July 1962 edition of Das. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce that because I know I'm not going to be able to. Anyways, what we have here, 2 years later, the story turned up in the July 1962 edition of Das Vegetarische Universum, a German vegetarian magazine. I told you it was some kind of a hobby magazine, which published a story attributed to Reinhard Wigeman called UFOs in Ancient Times, the Hieroglyphs of the Bayan Kara Yula. Intriguingly, the story is attributed to a news agency, DINA, D-I-N-A, in Tokyo. This is neither General Pinochet's secret police nor the Mexican lorry manufacturer, so I am unsure what it is. It looks like it could be the Deutsche International, although I can find no trace of such an agency. The same story from the same apparently non-existent news agency, again credited to Reinhard Wegemann, was published in a German UFO magazine in July of 1964. The Belgian UFO organization BUFI published a French translation in March-April of 1965 of its newsletter, number 4, to be followed by a Russian translation in 1967, bringing the story to full circle. So it was originally started, as we can see up here, in this Russian magazine that was printed in the United States. Then she went over to another Russian magazine, and then to a German vegetarian magazine, of all things. Then to a non-existent news agency. Then to another German publication. And then to the Belgians, and then back to the Russians. The Russian translation of the story was condensed by, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name either. And, well, apparently the guy's got the same name as a famous clothing designer. Right there. There's a guy that did the translation. The Russian translation of the story was condensed by the guy whose name I can't pronounce in the English magazine Sputnik, the Russian digest dating from 1967, where it was called Visitors from Outer Space, Science versus Fiction. Sputnik is a sensationalistic magazine similar to Britain's Daily Sport and the USA's National Enquirer. Please note that you may not be able to see its pages outside the USA. And the only other sources simply repeat this original 1960 story with no additional information. Some have suggested that Valentin I. Rich and Mikhail Chernenko never existed and were pseudonyms. However, they published a book in 1964, Through the Magic Crystal, A Story of Ideas, on artificial diamonds, while Valentin Rich published The Hunt for the Elements in 1982 and In Search of the Elements in 1985, so they appear to have been genuine popular science writers. However, no trace of either Reinhard Wegemann or the Dina news agency can be found outside of the story first published in the Vegetarian magazine. What can we make of all of this? First, the story has a very, very dubious pedigree. A speculative article by a pair of science writers seems to have been expanded by an unknown writer into a story published in the name of Reinhard Wegemann in 1962. Whoever was behind this seems to have been disappointed by the poor take on the story. A page in a vegetarian newspaper can hardly have had the impact the author of the hoax would have wanted, so he pushed it out again in 1964. Although rewritten, there was a clue in the text that it was originally prepared 2 years previously. It describes the expedition in which Chai Pu Ti discovered the discs as having occurred in 45 years previously, which would have placed it in 1939 rather than 1937, as originally claimed. It seems that 1964 was a better year for tall tales involving crashed UFOs. It was taken up in a variety of publications. So there you see, we have two takes on this story. And it appears they're in conflict with each other. Now, I've got no way to check out Bad Archaeology's take on this. I'm not going to spend the next 2 weeks tracking down all of this crap. And at the same time, I'm not going to believe the original accounting of the Dropa stones being, you put them on a record player and they make an odd vibration. I mean, come on, they're stone discs. Put one on a turntable and see if it doesn't make a strange vibration. At any rate, it's an interesting mystery, and it is our final story of the evening, so that I can go and finish my turkey stew, because we had a fine turkey dinner, and one of the things that I am grateful for is that I have a working stove, a wonderful family, a beautiful staff, and a cat that directs my show. So I'm going to go take some more cough drops here, see if I can get my throat unsore for Tuesday night. Another 5 days away, I think. We're not going to have any shows tomorrow night or Sunday night. We'll be back on Monday. Everybody have a good evening, and remember, if you're driving around out there, be careful. Because when a car hits a car, that's an accident. When a car hits a child, that's a tragedy. Have a good evening. We'll see you guys later. And Monday we'll have a much better show than we had tonight. I'm telling you, my head looks like that asteroid. There's no doubt about it. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you later. We now have the movie channel up, and as well as a series of videos up on the Diecast channels. I will have those up on the website in the near future. In the meantime, have a good evening. We'll see you guys later. And I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the night, but you guys can sit there and look at a blank screen if you want, or you can go off and do something. Have a nice night. Thanks for showing up.